Today, we open the mind as a sacred space, exploring the tools that awaken clarity, creativity, and curiosity. This is your Intellectual Wealth Toolkit, where learning meets light and every question becomes a path to wisdom. Welcome, Jaunteurs and awakening souls. Today, we're exploring something foundational to intellectual wealth, the idea of a toolkit. A toolkit, in its simplest form, is a set of resources you return to when something needs care, refinement, or expansion. Architects have toolkits for design, scientists have toolkits for discovery, writers have toolkits for inspiration. We all need toolkits, not filled with rulers or formulas, but with practices, reminders, and rituals. These help us stay grounded, curious, and connected to our inner intelligence. An intellectual wealth toolkit is not about knowing everything. It is about learning to think, question, and create with integrity and wonder. It is less about collecting information and more about cultivating wisdom. In life, we move through seasons without a toolkit, seasons with an underutilized toolkit, and seasons where we are living from a well used toolkit, where curiosity becomes second nature and our intellect flows as creative clarity. What happens when we don't have a toolkit at all? Intellectual wealth without a toolkit often looks like confusion, stagnation, or information overload. We consume endlessly but struggle to integrate or apply what we learn. We may cling to certainty, avoiding new perspectives that challenge our beliefs. Or we fall into self doubt, disconnected from our natural curiosity and creative flow. Over time, this can lead to burnout, creative block, or even cognitive fatigue. Research supports this. Excessive information intake without integration decreases focus and reduces memory retention. The brain thrives on structure and spaciousness, systems that help us revisit, reflect, and rest. What happens when we have an underutilized toolkit? Sometimes we have a toolkit but forget to use it consistently. We bookmark articles but never revisit them. We take notes without reflecting. We attend workshop after workshop but skip the follow up integration. When a toolkit is underutilized, intellectual wealth looks like inconsistency. Flashes of insight followed by mental clutter. Moments of creativity, then long periods of stagnation. Knowing what helps us think clearly, but not practicing it often enough. This stage feels scattered because the intellect is not yet in rhythm. The practices have not become habits of mind. What happens when we have a well-used toolkit? When the toolkit becomes part of your rhythm, intellectual wealth transforms into harmony. Knowledge becomes integration, learning becomes creation, curiosity becomes clarity. A well-used toolkit keeps your mind flexible, grounded, and inspired. From science, we know neuroplasticity strengthens when we engage in reflective learning, the process of revisiting and reframing knowledge. Creativity and curiosity activate the dopaminergic seeking system, increasing both learning retention and emotional satisfaction. Reflection and journaling enhance metacognition, your ability to think about thinking, improving focus and decision making. When the toolkit becomes a daily practice, thinking itself becomes an act of presence. In the Akashic field, intellect is not separate from intuition. It is one of the soul's languages. Tools for intellectual wealth are not just systems, they are currents of knowing that bridge the seen and unseen. Writing is not merely documentation, it is transmission, your higher self speaking through ink and insight. Learning is not just data intake, it is remembrance, your soul recalling what it already knows. Curiosity is not distraction, it is direction, the compass of your soul's evolution. The records reminds us The tools of the mind, when infused with love, become instruments of awakening. What should be included in the basic Intellectual Wealth Toolkit? 1. The note-taking system, the reflection loop. Your notes are more than information. They are living dialogue. Try this 4-step practice. 1. Capture. Write what sparks resonance, not everything that is said. 2. Clarify. Rewrite it in your own words. 3. Connect. Link it to something you already know or lived. And 4. Create. Ask, what could this insight become? This loop turns learning into understanding and understanding into wisdom. 2. Spaced repetition. This is where science meets soul. Revisiting ideas at space intervals strengthens retention, and spiritually, it honors the rhythm of remembering. Try revisiting your notes after 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, and 30 days. Ask, what feels more alive now? How has my perception shifted? Each review is a micro awakening. 3. The question journal. Curiosity as compass. Keep a curiosity log for ongoing questions. For example, what am I not seeing yet? Where is my mind resisting expansion? What truth am I ready to understand more deeply? These questions keep your intellect supple and spiritually awake. 4. The integration practice, a weekly reflection loop. Set aside 10 minutes a week for reflection. You can ask, what did I learn this week? What surprised me? What question am I carrying forward? Reflection turns noise into knowledge and knowledge into nourishment. Beyond practicality, an intellectual wealth toolkit holds a spiritual layer because thinking is not only mechanical, it is mystical. Meditate before study or creative work to open your energetic field to higher insight. Use light or candle rituals to invoke clarity before learning or writing. Pair logic with intuition. Draw an oracle card or pull a rune before deep research to align with divine perspective. Anchor with the mantra. Each question opens me to greater wisdom. Each question opens me to greater wisdom. These alignments ensure your intellect serves your evolution, not your ego. Let's look at expanding the toolkit for different life phases. Early adulthood or creative building. Focus on systems that support focus and structure. This may look like note cycles, idea journals, and time-bound curiosity rituals. For parenting or leadership, incorporate shared learning practices, curiosity circles, journaling with children, or teaching as reflection during times of transition. Lean into contemplative study. Reread meaningful texts, create art from learning, or blend reading with ritual. Expansion and contribution phases. Transform knowledge into service. You can teach, write, mentor, or create offerings that synthesize your wisdom. Later seasons in life. Shift from collection to contemplation. Archive your learnings, write your philosophies, and pass on your wisdom as legacy. Each phase invites new intellectual tools, but all lead to one truth. Wisdom is cyclical, ever evolving, and infinite. Intellectual wealth is not accumulation, it is alchemy. Your toolkit is the bridge between what you know and who you are becoming. Without one, your intellect may scatter or stagnate. With an underutilized one, your growth will be inconsistent. But with a well-used toolkit, curiosity becomes your craft, creativity your current, and clarity your compassion. I invite you to reflect. What is already in my intellectual wealth toolkit? Which tool do I want to use more consistently? What new tool might this phase of life be asking me to add? Remember, you do not need all the answers. You only need to keep asking the questions that keep you alive. Share with me in the comments what has been the most helpful tool or resource in your intellectual wealth toolkit. And remember, Your share could be the light on someone else's path. Thank you for exploring with me today. May your curiosity stay alive, your mind stay open, and your learning become light. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this content with someone who may find it helpful. And continue to explore, experience, and expand through the wealth of your own becoming. With love and light, I am Tara.